So if you don't like rant videos, I would very much suggest not to watch this because it's going to make me not look the best. I am going to rant and I'm going to rave and I'm going to whine and bitch and cry and do all of those things that are in rant videos because I am not happy. So anyways, this is the review of Spiral 2021. Excuse me, my computer wants attention right now. It is not the time. Okay, so I knew this movie was going to be shit from the second it was announced, right? I just knew. I was like, why are they making another one? So let me start off from the very beginning. Okay, I am a massive die-hard super fan of Saw. I have met almost every single person that has ever been in a Saw movie. I have the words cherish your life in the first writer's handwriting tattooed on me. I have a tattoo on my ankle, let me show y'all, of a fucking saw on my ankle. Okay? Saw is one of my favorite things in the entire world. In the entire world. I am a massive horror fan. I am a massive Saw fan. I know everything about Saw. I can teach a class about Saw. Saw is extremely important to me. When I found out they were making this, I was like, this is going to be horrible. And I just knew. I just knew. And Jigsaw was decent. I enjoyed Jigsaw. This movie was not a Saw movie. It wasn't. There was nothing Saw about it. This was a movie, almost hour and 45-minute long movie, a cop drama with like 2 deaths in the entire thing. This was not a Saw movie. This was horrible. And I am livid about it. And I'm just thinking about this being somebody's first Saw movie that they're ever going to see and them thinking that this is Saw. This is not Saw. This was not a Saw movie. And I am extremely disappointed in the people that had anything to do with it. Because like Darren Lynn Bousman directed Saw 2, 3, and 4. And he directed this too. And I was like, you know what? I have faith. I was like, I wanted to like it. I wanted it to be good. I did not think it was going to be, and I was right. But I wanted it to be good. And I trusted Darren, and I was like, okay. And then Josh Stolberg also, he wrote it, and he follows me on Twitter. He's probably not going to follow me after this, to be honest with you, because I'm going to burn this movie to the ground in this review. So anyway, I hated it, and it was not a Saw movie. So it was predictable. It was really poorly paced. I never, ever get bored in movies. Ever. I was bored to shit during this movie. It was so slowly paced. When I go to see movies, I go to see movies and I have no problem with putting my phone in my purse and watching the movie and paying attention. I was like itching my arm for any kind of thing to look at besides this movie, the entire middle section, because it was that boring. And I have no problem typically watching a movie and keeping my eyes on the screen the entire time. But this movie had me so bored to tears. It was a cop revenge story. It was not Saw. The thing that I love about Saw, and the reason why I have these tattoos, is because Saw is about cherishing your life. It's about teaching people lessons. It's about, can you do this to survive? It's about, do you want to survive? Like, it's so much more than the torture porn that people think that Saw is. The problem that I have with this movie is that it is just torture porn. There is no lesson. There is no deeper meaning. Even Jigsaw had a reason for why the things were happening and about that cherish your life aspect. This movie was, and what I suspected that it would be, is just beating that horse to a pulp. And this was turning that horse into confetti. This was taking an idea and beating it so hard that it went poof into confetti. Jigsaw was decent. Jigsaw at least went back to the old characters and it had something to do with that. This was, and I get that it's the Book of Saw. It's a fork in the road to a different story. But like, yeah, have a fork in the road, fine. Give a side story that has nothing to do with the originals. That's fine. But do not just make it a revenge story where people aren't able to survive. Like, the people do what they need to do and they're still killed. The people are killed because of revenge. They're not in these traps because they have something to realize that their life is worth. That's the whole point of Saw. This was not a Saw movie. This was a torture porn cop drama with the Saw name taped on with fucking duct tape. This was, and you know what annoys me with cinema nowadays? People do not want to make a new story. People are so, and maybe it's just the movie industry. They don't want to take a risk on something new, on a new idea. They want to be like, oh yeah, new Saw movie that did well in the past. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, write your own thing, and then put the name Saw on it, and people will go see it. No, that's lazy and that's stupid and that's shit. And why is the movie industry like that? I get it. It's for money. I get it. But Jesus Christ, at least do some justice. At least have this be an actual Saw film. This was literally the traps. None of them were good. The first one was kind of aesthetically cool, but everything else was so stupid. It made no sense. Like the traps were stupid as fuck. And not to mention, was this movie predictable? God, was it predictable. Okay, I'm not going to say I'm stupid. I'm a writer and I know how to tell a good story, okay? But like, I do not ever figure out the endings to movies, ever. And mostly it's because I don't think that much while I'm watching a movie because I don't want to figure out the ending, you know? However, this movie was so predictable that I figured out the killer was who it was the second a certain thing in the movie happened. Literally the second a thing in the movie happened. And it was halfway through the movie. And I was like, I know who's the killer. I know who the killer is. And the second I saw the killer at the end, I was like, I fucking knew it. Of course. They didn't show the thing happening to that person. So obviously that was the killer. Like, come on. Fucking really? Really? And it was obvious of why. Even before they told the story, I was like, I bet he's related to that person. And that's the reason why. Like, God. And I don't pick up on things with predictability ever. And even my dumbass was able to predict this. Like, come on. It was laughable. When I got out of the film, I actually messaged one of my good friends. And we had a nice little talk about it. Her name is Emily. And so I will kind of go over some things we said because I am not as punctual as I'd like to be right now because I feel like I'm being a little ranty, but I will kind of say the things we said. And so basically she messaged me and she's like, are you seeing Spiral? And I'm like, I literally just got out of it, like literally less than a minute ago. And then she's like, please tell me you're as underwhelmed as me. I'm like, that was the most horrible movie I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was like, I wasn't expecting anything, but damn. She's like, yeah, there could have been a cameo back to somebody, which I don't think was necessary. I don't think there needed to be a cameo. I don't even think it needed to attribute and be a direct sequel to the original Saw movies. That was fine. But at least make it a movie with some substance and like a reason why this is happening rather than a copycat. Also, another thing that annoyed the fuck out of me was the voice. The voice on the tapes was not scary at all. It was literally, oh my God. It reminded me of like a middle-aged librarian female. And it was so stupid. It was like, I felt like I was watching like a YouTube parody or something. And then so blah, 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 made it about revenge rather than all of this. And I'm like, I'm so disappointed in Darren and Josh because what the fuck, guys? And then it's just some pissy revenge story. Exactly. Um, right. And I'm saying they spent all the budget on Samuel and Chris, which I 100% believe, because Samuel and Chris were amazing in what they were given, but the story was ass. And honestly, Chris Rock, I've never seen in a serious movie before. He was an amazing actor. An amazing actor. But this movie was shit. And Samuel L. Jackson, incredible as well. And he was funny, and I laughed a few times. But, oh God, it was bad. It was bad. Just a cash grab, basically. It was just a cash grab. And so all of us talking about how much of a cash grab it was, about how John Kramer would have fucking hated this movie. And obviously he's a fictional character and he doesn't exist, but he would have hated this. Like, it was a joke. The whole reason why John did what he did was to teach people to cherish your life and to put people in situations like suicidal people. He would put them in there to teach them, do they really want to live? You know, things like that. Symbolism, beauty in gore, sure, but beauty. There was an underlying beauty about it. And this was just messy and it was just poorly executed. And I kind of get what they were trying to do, but damn, it was very poorly executed. So basically we just talked about how good Chris Rock was. Me about how I'm probably going to get attacked by fans of Saw, and just like how I was attacked by hating the ending of Supernatural, saying, "Oh, you're not a real Supernatural fan if you hated the finale." How about you weren't a real Supernatural fan if you liked the finale? If you liked the finale, you were not a real fan. And like, we all have opinions. I get it. I know there are going to be some Saw fans that liked it. Why? Why? I would genuinely, if you are a Saw fan and a diehard Saw fan, if you liked this, please let me know and why. Because what the fuck? Honestly, I'll listen to your comments, but Saw means too much for me than this farce of a movie made it out to seem. And like, so me being a huge, massive Saw fan, sorry, you can see my chest getting like heated, like red. And so my whole thing is that it made me embarrassed to be a Saw fan. It made me embarrassed to be a Saw fan, to be honest with you. And my whole thing is that I've had people in my life tell me that I am crazy for loving Saw so much, that I am insane for being a huge Saw fan because it's just torture porn. This movie, if people are going to watch this first, they're going to think that. And they're definitely going to think that now. And this movie had no meaning. Just a cash grab. And I vehemently am against calling the Saw films torture porn. The later ones in the series, kind of on thin ice, still good, still had a meaning, but kind of ruined it for me, guys. Kind of ruined it. You can't take away how much the old ones mean to me, but like, come on. I wasn't expecting this to be good, but have some substance. Tell a good story. This was not a good story. My opinion, as someone who is way too close to the series. But anyway, what did you think of Saw Spiral? What did you think of it? And if you liked it, or you didn't like it, or you saw it, if you have seen the other movies, if you haven't, I would love to know your comments. I would love to know what you thought. Put those down below, and I'd love to have a discussion. But I am just extremely disappointed. And I knew I would be. But I didn't think I would be this disappointed. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, thanks so much for watching. I love you all. Toodles.